Welcome to Discover the Power of Living Your Purpose. The 3 keys to transform stress and struggle into freedom and joy. You made it. I'm so glad that you're here. Whether you're live or listening to the replay, I'm just really, really happy for you showing up. Showing up is the first step to success. So I want to acknowledge you for being here and taking action to move toward your vision. Congratulations, and thank you for investing this time in yourself. I know there are a lot of other places that you could be and different things that you could be doing right now. Investing this time in yourself is a gift to you and all those around you. I truly appreciate the work that you're doing and who you're being. I sent you a workbook journal this morning to take notes and participate in the exercises. If you didn't see it or want to download it right now, you can do that in the link right over there in the chat box. In fact, actually, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little circle that says chat underneath it. Click on that, and you can download that link right now. So this is a workshop, and I want you to be engaged. I also want it to be fun and to be fully present. So please turn off your cell phone and any other distractions in your head. Just let go of all that's happened so far this morning and even earlier this week. And just release all your thoughts about what you're going to be doing later and just be here now. Receive this time as a special gift to yourself. Let's just all breathe that in. We are present. Now, I'd like to get a little bit better idea of who you are and where you are before we get started. So there is that little chat box at the icon at the bottom of your screen. Please type in any message just to let me know that you're present with me. And if you're watching the replay of this, if you can just send me an email, let me know that you got the content and any feedback that you have to offer, whatever your biggest takeaways, I'd love to hear that. So again, if you just want to write in, I'm here, I'm with you, present, whatever you want to type in, your current location, anything like that. Great, good to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I gotcha. Great, so first, to help me get a better connection, I've got 2 questions for you. So first, do you believe that you have a divine purpose for your life? You can just put a yes or no. We don't need to know the specifics, but do you believe that you have a divine purpose for your life? Now, again, you can follow along in your workbooks. These questions are in there. On a scale from 1 to 10, how committed are you to gaining greater clarity and taking action to fully living your purpose? Again, from 1 to 10, how committed are you really to getting more clear on what your purpose is and then actually taking action to living that purpose? Now imagine if you could get clear guidance that you completely trusted to help you share your gifts in a way that could help others while providing you with freedom and abundance. Would you be more confident in making decisions and taking action? Yeah, of course. Great. So today I'm going to share one of the most important practices I know to better understand your purpose and how to fully live it to create greater meaning and joy in your life. Does that sound good? Great. Okay, let's get started. So my name is Mark Porteous, and for those who don't already know, first and foremost, I'm the father of 6-year-old twins, my son Zen and daughter Eden, and a husband to my wife, Renee, for 14 years. I'm also the author of The Human Experience and the soon-to-be-released Maximizing Your Human Experience. Last year, I co-founded the Inspired Messengers Network to support emerging visionary leaders and transformational entrepreneurs in sharing their gifts. Today, we'll be talking about what it takes to achieve your divine purpose and how to receive clear guidance to support your vision. You are a divine being with a special message and very unique gifts to share. I believe that you're on this webinar and on the planet because you want to make a difference in the world and you want to thrive in your purpose. Do you agree? If you want to just post a quick message in the chat box if that's true for you. And again, if you want to just write that down, message me later. I'd love to hear it. So, would you like to make a greater impact on the planet and also enjoy greater abundance, peace, and joy in your life? Oh, let me make sure I've got everybody else on mute. Apologize. Um, Great. Okay. So I believe that that's one thing or two things, I guess, that we all have in common. And I believe that we'll discover that we actually share many other similarities. I created this workshop to help you build a solid foundation so you can fully live your purpose. I believe that we're all divine beings who have chosen this human experience for a reason. And discovering and really living your purpose is the most exciting and rewarding adventure imaginable. And my promise to you is that during this workshop, you'll gain a deeper understanding of your life purpose, practice a simple yet powerful method to receive clarity and focus and direction from your own inner guidance system. Plus, you'll discover the 5 stages of awakening to your purpose and where you are currently on that path. You'll also learn how to embody your message so you can so you're on purpose no matter what you're doing. And finally, you'll create a clear vision of the life your soul desires and a strategy with next steps to guide you. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to share a very simple yet very powerful exercise that will create a shift inside you that will change your life in a profound way. And you'll be able to use this exercise anytime you want. I guarantee this one experience will be well worth your time. So I have a lot to share, and I also want to give you time to engage with me and with each other so you can experience the tools that I'm sharing. And I can only fit so much into the next 75 minutes. So at the end of this workshop, I promise to give you a chance to learn more about specific next steps that you can take to build on what we are doing here today. I'll give you a very special bonuses as an extra reward just for completing this workshop. So make sure to stick around. Over the last 5 years, I've put my heart and soul into my mission, and I've had some great successes. Self-publishing my first book, making the leap from my comfortable corporate job, attracting over 10,000 subscribers to my community, filling my online group programs before I even had a single paying client, and partnering with world-renowned transformational leaders, many of whom have now become my mentors and several are now close friends. And these are all great accomplishments that I tend to minimize and play down in my mind. Do you ever think about everything that you want to accomplish and forget all that you've already achieved? Just let me know in the chat box if you can relate. What I know is that you can learn more from my failures than my successes. And I'm guessing you can probably relate to many of them. Things like being stressed out, lack of life balance, little or no social life, financial struggle, lack of desired engagement and connection, disappointments in business, marital challenges, feeling like I could be a better dad. And that one really gets me. And the list goes on. Does any of that sound familiar or strike a chord to you? Again, I'd love to just follow along in the chats, share whatever's coming up for you. So yeah, I get it. You're on you're a person, and people relate more to vulnerability than perfection. Do you agree? Of course, right? So I've learned more from my challenges than from my successes, and I've had enough of both to know what you're going through and how to help you create a life that's aligned with your soul's desire for freedom, abundance, meaning, and joy. Sharing my challenges with you is honestly a bit uncomfortable, but it's an expression of who I am, and it allows me to shine my light more brightly. I'm passionate about fully living my purpose and empowering others to live theirs, including you. So again, open up your workbook if you haven't already, and write down, what are you most passionate about? And if you know it, what message would you like to share with the world? Maybe if you don't have the wordings exactly as you might want, just whatever's coming to your mind, write that down in your workbook. And you can even type in the chat box, or at least, like I said, write it down in your workbook, whatever comes to you right now. So the core of my message is that we're all connected. My mission is to accelerate the shift in social consciousness from our current state of fear and separation to our natural state of love and unity. I do that by helping others to thrive in their purpose of transforming lives. When I was 21, I was working for Greenpeace, and my girlfriend took me to my first metaphysical bookstore. And there I read a quote that changed my life. We are not human beings having spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings having human experiences. And that one quote helped me to make sense of many of the things I've been writing since I was 16, both through poetry and prose. And it just suddenly helped me, all of that make sense. It was things I had never really been taught before. They were just kind of coming to me, and I didn't know where it was coming from. So that really helped me to get a new perspective. And when I read that quote, I realized I wanted to put everything I had together and put out a book called The Human Experience. So the first thing I did was I went to my father, and I told him that I was going to write a book. And meaning very well, my father, who had written several books already, said, "Don't expect to make money writing a book." And at first I felt crushed. I was like, well, I just want to put it out there. But I realized it wasn't my time, or at least I felt at that point that it wasn't my time. What my dad's advice was to build a business to support the book and the message. I didn't realize at the time that the book, or the business, could be directly related to the book or whatever I was writing. So instead, I created a business selling souvenirs at amusement parks. And within 5 years, I had 100 employees all over the country, which is also where I met my wife, Renee. After 5 years of running this business and working hard every day, I didn't have any time to write. So I still had no book. I hadn't made any real progress on it, and I was feeling burned out. I, again, created this business to pursue my passion and hadn't really gotten any progress. So I ended up selling my business, and once again feeling like, okay, it's not my time. So I went back to the corporate world, took a sales job, and figured, okay, in a couple of years I can make more money, have more free time, and be able to finally get my book out into the world. Well, 10 years later, my twins were born, and still no book. I made the decision that this was my time. I didn't want to teach my children what we call the deferred lifestyle of working 40 hours a week and trying to spend time in the weekends or a couple of weeks a year on vacation. I wanted to teach my children the importance of following their passion. And I knew if I didn't follow mine, I would be robbing them of theirs. My passion for parenting by example inspired me to take action that was aligned with my mission. And that's when I began my new journey to consciously align with my purpose. And as you can probably tell, my passion to be a positive role model has really been my driving force. It's my big why. And you are here in this workshop and on this planet to support your desire to live your purpose. No matter where you are in your journey, achieving your mission requires an ongoing process of personal transformation. Any type of transformation is a simple 4-step process. You can look in your workbook and just follow along. So we start off with step 1. Where are you right now? You might want to write that down. You guys ready? Okay, very good. And again, this is position A. So it really helps to get a really clear picture of where you are. And right now, you can just kind of jot down what comes to the top of your mind. You might want to go into this a little bit deeper after this exercise and get as clear of a picture with all of your challenge, all of your assets, everything that's working for you and what's not working. And then create a real clear picture for step 2 of where you want to be. This is position B. And this is all about visioning. We're going to work on this a lot more during this call to help you create a really clear vision for what you want for your life. The more detail that you can put into this part, the more tangible that it feels, the more exciting it'll feel, and the more helpful it will be in actually reaching that goal. Now, step 3 is, how do you get from A to B? And that's your strategy. And the strategy is actually only 20% of of achieving your goals. It actually takes step 4 to be successful in manifesting what it is that you want to desire. So step 4 is taking action and follow through. It's all about accountability. So with these 4 steps, you can actually be real clear where you are, where you want to be, create a strategy or a blueprint to help you get from A to B, and then make sure that you're taking action and consistently taking action. And a lot of times it really does help to have an accountability partner. So this is the same process no matter what kind of transformation you're seeking. It's the essence of coaching, teaching, and even healing. How do you get from where you are to where you want to be? So where will you be in 3 months, 6 months, or even a year if you don't take action right now? One of my favorite quotes is, visions are like objects in the distance. They become clearer as we move toward them. Over the last 5 years, I've worked with inspired messengers and soul-driven entrepreneurs who are at all different levels in their professional development. I have clients who've been sharing their gifts and message for many years, many more than me, and achieved great success. Others who are just beginning to step into their mission, and many are somewhere in the middle. So one thing that they all have in common is that they're really ready to step up their game. I want to work with people who are committed to living their purpose and taking action to reach their goals. So where are you right now on your path? If you want, again, you can just share it over here on the chat box. Just click the chat box below and share where you are in your progress. And I know some of you are on the phones and don't have access to that. Again, I'd love to hear your emails, read your emails, or if you're watching this replay. So let's take a look at the 5 stages of living your purpose and how you can break through to the next level. Again, following along in your workbooks, you'll see the A through E there, and we're going to go through and fill in each of those. And I want you to remember that while it's really easy to judge yourself and compare your progress to those around you, know that you are divinely perfect right now and at every stage in your development. And it's really, really easy to forget at times when you think about all that you haven't done yet or the challenges that are coming up. But just know that everything is exactly as it needs to be. So what I'm about to share is simply a structure to help you visualize where you are currently on your journey. And you'll see this process is actually very cyclical. It's much like the hero's journey. The end of one cycle is the beginning of the next. So I'm going to go through each of these stages, and I want you to circle the stage where you are right now. And again, in your workbook, you'll see the letters A through E, and then a line after them. You can fill in these lines. So A is for awakening. This is a consciousness, a new awareness on different levels. If you look back through your life, you'll remember many stages of awakening to self, awakening to connection to others, purpose and meaning, and perhaps you're experiencing a new awakening right now. B is for becoming, moving toward awareness. It's a natural unfolding and letting go to allow what's emerging. This can be a really confusing and comfortable phase, while freeing at the same time, like a butterfly breaking through its chrysalis. It can be quite uncomfortable, but the reward on the other side is freedom and joy. The next stage is C, which is clarifying. This is about gaining a better understanding of where you are and what your vision is. And again, the title of this workshop is all about the 3 keys to transform your life from the stress and struggle to freedom and joy. So can you see how getting clear on your mission would be very helpful? Do you have a mission statement? That will really help you to clarify things. There's a couple of things that will help you with that. One is your message, what your soul wants to express to the world. And my message is that we're all divine beings who are one with each other and all that is. And clarity is not like a one and done experience. With clarity on my purpose came awakening to the next stage, which is delivering. I know a lot of people are in this stage right now. In fact, I look forward to seeing where you are. But delivering is about sharing your message with your ideal audience. It's the why, how, where, and to whom. These are three very important questions to help you clarify for successful delivery. And if you're struggling in your business, you may need clarity in one of these areas, or really in any part of your life. As a teacher or healer, there are many platforms to deliver your gifts. It's important to use the best venues to reach your ideal audience. And if your purpose isn't about making a business out of sharing your message, it could just be through parenting, through your relationships, even in your work. If it may not feel like what your purpose or your passion is, just the way that you show up helps to deliver your message. So that brings us to E, and this is my favorite part, excelling. And this is all about thriving in your purpose. This really opens you to new awakenings, and again, the cycle continues. So understanding the cycle and simply observing without judgment is the first key to achieve your mission. Each stage of your development needs new support and nurturing. And no matter what stage you're at right now, the right support will help you get to the next level. So which stage or stages perhaps, you might be in between or experiencing different parts of them, but where are you mostly right now? What are you experiencing in your life? After I published The Human Experience, my wife said, it's taken you almost 20 years to finish and publish your book. Now what are you going to do? So the first thing that we did, being a new parent and a husband, normally in the past I wouldn't have really been concerned about providing, because I really had a very bohemian lifestyle. I knew that all my needs were already met, but now I had other responsibilities. I had to take care of my children. So the first thing I asked was, well, how much do coaches make? I wasn't really familiar with the industry. In fact, when she first suggested it, I was thinking of coaching as kind of the new therapy for wealthy housewives. I didn't realize it was a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that there were literally millions of coaches in the world. So we did a quick search on Google and found that the average life coach makes about $20,000 a year in the United States. And I realized, okay, that's not going to work. So what else can I do? And my wife said, well, that's the average life coach. You've never been an average salesperson. Why do you think that you're going to be an average coach? And I was really blown away by that. It was like my first coaching, and I got it from my wife. And that inspired me to look at what the top coaches were making. And I realized there were many of them in the 7 figures and even more making 6 figures. So I said, okay, this is something that I can do where I can help people and still take care of my family. So I was very excited. I went to the bookstore where I first read the quote about the human experience. And I told my mentor that I was going to quit my corporate job and go out and save the world. And Beverly looked me in the eyes and she said, oh dear, you're not ready yet. Your company still needs you, and you still need it, and your family still needs it. And when she first told me that, I started to almost cry. Actually, I had to hold back the tears. And I thought she was talking from a scarcity perspective I needed to be able to supply for my family. So I held it in. I went home and told my wife. She was actually kind of relieved. And I spent really the next year getting ready to make the leap. And during that time, I realized that the fastest way to get where you want to be is to know why you are exactly where you need to be. Again, whatever stage you're in right now offers very important growth opportunities. And if you can identify those, you can actually use those to help your progress. So on October 12th of 2012, I finally left my corporate job to follow my passion. And my first coach advised that I couldn't make money in spiritual coaching. The only way that I could make a living was to do either business and money, health and wellness, or relationships. And while I had spent money in myself and I'd seen many people around me spending thousands of dollars, I bought into that. And so I saw the need for heart-centered entrepreneurs to take better care of themselves so they could live their purpose of transforming lives, and started getting into business coaching. During that time, I recognized a pattern all the way back to my mom and sisters that people who are heart-centered my mom and both my sisters were social workers at the time, are very good at taking care of others, but often have challenges taking care of themselves. So I thought this would be a great way to help people out. I created the Transformers Mastermind. I filled 4 group programs in the first 2.5 years. And after that, I started doing a lot of divine guidance work and trying to really get clear on how I could best serve. And through that process, I realized that my passion for connecting people was really what I wanted to be doing. And that's why I created the Inspired Messengers Network, to provide advanced training from my mentors, plus creating visibility for the community and for all of our members. And then basically what I did, I took my Thriving Your Purpose program, the transformational business training, and we addressed 3 major pillars that you need to align with your business: your message, your mechanics, and your marketing. But before you can work on any of these areas, it's really important to get clear on your purpose and really do the inner work of becoming a visionary leader. And hopefully that's what you're here for. So there are several different schools of thought on the definition of purpose. And again, if you're following along in your workbooks, you'll see the question, what does life purpose mean to you? So whatever that definition is, you can share what your life purpose is, but really in general, what does life purpose mean? And I'm going to share the definition from 2 of my mentors, 2 very well-known thought leaders, Eckhart Tolle and Tim Kelly. According to Eckhart Tolle, who's one of the most sought-after spiritual leaders of our time, there are really just 2 aspects of purpose: being and doing. So if you look at being, who you're being, well, who are you on your inside? Well, being is typically achieved through your personal development. And that can show up in many different ways. It can show up physically through training. It can go, again, the inner part of it is really about self-discovery, learning who you are, and really building that connection between you and source. And the outer purpose of doing is typically achieved through service to others, how you show up in the world, and what you offer to your community and to your family, and just the people in your life. And when your inner being is aligned with your true self, anything that you do is inspired action. So when I started learning about purpose and reading Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose, I started to become more and more curious about it. And then I met Tim Kelly from the True Purpose Institute, where his process identifies 4 different aspects of purpose. And clarity on these 4 aspects was absolutely pivotal in moving me to the next stage. And I believe it'll serve you well too. So here they are. The first stage is your essence. Who are you at your core? And again, I went through a whole long 8-week program. Actually, it turned out to be a 12-week program to be able to connect with divine guidance to get the answers to these questions. And I'll show you how to do that, and to be able to use this process to get real clear on each of these 4 aspects. But the first one is your essence. Who are you at your core? For me, I am unconditional love. And I thought everybody was. Through a lot of other testing, I realized that while I believe that's a part of who we are, that's really the core of what I want to express. The second aspect is your blessing. These are your natural gifts, which you may even take for granted, but others will know. So if you're not clear on what your blessing is, you can actually just talk to your friends and family and just say, what is it that you think makes me special? And you'll be surprised that a lot of times it's things that you really didn't value and appreciate in yourself. Sometimes it could just be being very present, being a good listener, being a go-getter and getting things done. So understanding your real gifts is critical to achieving your mission. The next one is your message. What your soul wants to express to the world. And I didn't read you my blessing. My blessing is to recognize the divine gifts in others. this has been very helpful for me because, again, a lot of times people can't see themselves and can't see the things that are most valuable within them. And then the third one is your message, what your soul wants to express to the world. And my message is that we're all divine beings who are one with each other and all that is. Getting clear on your message can, again, be a process, but I would love to hear what it is. And then finally, it's your mission. And this is the big goal in your life that goes beyond yourself. It's your legacy and what you want to leave behind, how you want to be remembered. And my mission, as I stated earlier, is to accelerate the shift in human consciousness from our current state of fear and separation to our natural state of love and unity. So basically, I want to use my mission to create more harmony in my life and in the world. So I mentioned earlier that the process that I went through to get clear on the different aspects of my purpose was called divine guidance. And one of the problems that I had, the reason that I took the course in the beginning, was I saw that a lot of the women in my life had a lot more, or felt like they had a lot more intuition, that they were guided. And I was kind of envious that I didn't get this guidance. What I realized was that I had been getting the guidance all along. I just wasn't trusting it. And that's because we have this part of us, that our ego, that interferes with the guidance that we're receiving. And we'll talk a little bit about ego in just a moment. But to help you as a practice that you can use to guide any part of your life, and specifically we're going to be talking about how to get clear on your purpose, but really it can be to answer any challenge that you're having, any questions that you're having about life, to be able to connect with some type of higher source. So the first step in this process is to name your trusted source. And there are several different types of trusted source. There's the your inner higher self. There's the outer non-personal things like angel guides, maybe a loved one that's passed, and then there's the higher source, just the you might call it God or the universe, whatever your term you like to have. But naming your trusted source is important, so you know who you're speaking to. And if you don't have a name, you can just call it Bob. If it's an inner part of you, you might have a nickname that you call it. But being able to speak to that trusted source. So let's say you call it God. Now you want to identify and name the part in your head who's in charge of making decisions. This speaks to your ego mind. And it could be the decider. It could be your manager. And again, you could actually give it a name, like Sarah, or for me, Michael, whatever it is. So just knowing what part of your brain is the one that's in control of what thoughts are coming through. Now, the challenge comes up when your brain is basically there to protect you. I mean, like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about the ego, but the idea is that it's there to make sure that you don't get yourself into trouble. And that's the whole purpose of ego, is self-survival. So it will help to get clear guidance without the interruption of your ego by getting permission from your ego. And we'll do this by setting conditions of your ego so that you can speak with your trusted source. This could be things like not wanting to lose your job and have no place to go. In fact, I'll share you some of the conditions of my ego. Let me pull it up. So my conditions to speak with trusted source: my family is safe and happy. I'm healthy physically and emotionally. I'm living a balanced lifestyle and have time for friends and family. I take time for myself to meditate, to dialogue with the different parts and trusted source. I'm respected, appreciated, and loved by my peers and my community. I feel divinely guided and fully trust my guidance and myself. I'm accelerating the shift in social consciousness and co-creating a new paradigm. I'm a conscious role model for my children. I'm making sufficient income. I'm happy where I live. I feel good about myself. I take appropriate steps to ensure these conditions are true. That's a really important one for my ego to allow this guidance to come through, is that it knows I'm actually taking the steps to ensure that these conditions are true. So Renee and I have created a very solid plan, and I continue to improve on my follow-through. So anyway, you've got, and I can send you this list if you want to email me or put something in the chat box. I can send you my conditions so that you can review them and see if some of these speak to you. Then once you have your own conditions, the things that your ego mind needs in order to feel safe enough to let you speak openly with your trusted source, then you can begin the dialogue. And you start with talking to your inner critic or your saboteur, actually more of your manager, your mind manager. And you ask just a simple question. As long as I commit to the conditions above, will you allow me to receive clear guidance from my trusted source? And if the answer is yes, then you can move on. If the answer is no, then say, well, what else do you need? And listen for the answer. And they will come and write those things down and then ask the question again. And once you have that and you have the permission, then you can go to your trusted source and say, hello, whatever that name might be, are you there? And then just stop and wait. And usually I get the answer right away. Yes, I'm here, or I'm always here. I know. Once you are connected, then you can ask any question you want. For the sake of this exercise, you might say, what is my divine purpose? And of course, it helps if you're in a quiet, safe, comfortable place to do this. This may not be the best time to get it, but perhaps you're connected enough that you can just ask that and write down, if you don't already know, what is your divine purpose? Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because I believe that physical, mental, and spiritual well-being is our natural state. And you deserve deeply meaningful relationships, radiant health, financial freedom. If you're not experiencing all of these in your life right now, it may be a sign that you're out of alignment somewhere, or you're off your intended course. So what's missing in your life right now? Is it the connections, the relationships, the support? Is there something going on with your health? I've been dealing with all kinds of crazy family health issues over the last 3 months. So that's what's showing up for me. Now, what's it costing you to be focused on these other challenges and not feeling in alignment? How much is it costing you emotionally, financially, spiritually? You don't have to live a fraction of your potential anymore. And typically, there's one obstacle that's holding you back. And identifying this single block is the first step to clearing it. I'm going to expose this block right now and show you how to avoid being stuck where you are forever. And then I'll share the 3 essential keys to help you align with your divine path toward well-being and abundance, and how to stay on track. So what do you think is the greatest obstacle in your life? Again, you can you can share it over here on the side. Thank you for the comments there, Loretta. I'm going to copy these and save them, and I'll respond to you directly. Yep, I'll send that out to you. So what is the biggest thing that's blocking you right now? Yep, your fears. Your own fears are the #1 barrier between you and the life that you're meant to experience. It could be the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, of not being good enough, or scarcity, not having enough. And remember that these fears are all based on your previous experiences. And again, remember, your ego looks for danger to protect you. Uh-oh. Wait, block me. There we go. Sorry about that. So there's a small portion of your brain that's about the size of your thumb, and it's called the amygdala. Its sole purpose is to recognize danger and initiate the proper responses from your body: fight, flight, or freeze. And this highly refined mechanism is fully automated and mostly unconscious. It's been extremely useful in elevating humans to the very top of the food chain. It's also absolutely necessary for your survival. But it can also come overstimulated and cripple you with fear. And your ego works in the same way. So how do you optimize the benefits from your ego without letting it paralyze you and limit your potential? A great way to garner your support of your ego is to provide evidence that you're not putting yourself in danger. That was that whole exercise that we went through with the commitments. And yes, I'll send that out to anyone who needs my list of commitments. But for you, there are three mechanisms that you can use to ease the fears of your ego and tap into your full wisdom. Again, you've got this right there in your workbook. Number one is to create a clear strategy that addresses the concerns of your ego. Knowing that you have a plan and acknowledging potential risk will comfort your ego. If you're trying to lose weight and plan to fast for a week, your ego is going to go crazy telling you that this is not the healthy way to reach your goal, and it will work to sabotage your plan. Number two is to establish a system of accountability so you remain in integrity with the commitments you make to yourself. This is really important. Not following through with your promises to yourself or to others is a sign to your subconscious mind that you can't be trusted. Having an accountability partner will help give you that confidence and the motivation to complete your commitments. Just knowing that there's somebody that's waiting to hear whether or not you've done it. It doesn't have to be somebody hitting you with a stick or even dragging a carrot in front of you, but just knowing that you're going to be sharing with somebody whether or not you fulfilled your commitments sometimes is more powerful than you keeping track of your own commitments. And then number three is developing ongoing mutual support. So one of the best ways to ensure your success is outside assistance. This provides encouragement and inspiration. I know from my own experience that feeling like you're all alone makes it really difficult when you get off track or if you run into resistance. And we know in life we're going to be constantly running into resistance. So having a friend, some form of community or a coach that you can count on will give you the strength and endurance to step out of your comfort zone and stick to your goals. So again, this is a really nice brief outline and the important three keys to be able to transform whatever challenges that you're coming into greater freedom and abundance and joy. And I want to remind you that you have the power within you to change your life in an instant. And this can sometimes seem unrealistic when you've been working on it for many years and you've come up across the same thing again and again. But we're going to show you how, with the right tools and support, you can make quantum leaps in the quality of your life in an instant. And I want to help you to do that. So I want to invite you to open your mind for a moment, and hopefully you've had an open mind the whole time, but I really want you to open your mind to your own potential and allow me to guide you toward a bigger, more beautiful picture for your life. Would you like to go through a powerful exercise to help you manifest all possibilities for your life? Sound good? Okay, great. Let me go through this process with you. I want you to start by just really getting relaxed. You don't have to be looking at me. You can close your eyes if you want to. Sometimes it's helpful. Taking a couple of deep breaths and start by creating a vision. Create a vision from your heart that fires you up. One of the challenges sometimes in goal planning or vision setting is that we're creating a vision that's coming from our heads of what we think we want or what we've been trained to want. And it's not really from our heart, so that even when we get successful in that, it could be in sports, it could be in business, whatever it is, when you attain the success that you think you want and you still feel empty, it's because it wasn't really what was coming from your heart, it was coming from some other source. So it starts by creating a vision that comes from your passion. Your imagination or your divine inspiration is the creative force that designs the blueprint of your future. Imagination is the key to any creativity. And as you practice it, it becomes easier and you get better at it. And I want you to really, I want to emphasize that this is not about, again, your external motivation or what you think you should or need to do, but what really motivates and excites you. So what do you think are the big motivators for you in your life? What would you like to achieve? I've mentioned some of them, things like freedom. You might want to travel, create greater abundance in your life, having more time with family and friends, perhaps making a bigger impact in the world, or just having more peace and joy in your own life. So start out knowing what those things are. And now I want you to create a vision. What would it look like to have the vision that you have for your life? And to make it easier, I'm going to say that that you want to be a speaker. You want to get up and share your message with the world. So I want you to use all of your senses to imagine yourself on stage, speaking to a crowd of people who are eager to hear your message. And again, I want you to use all 5 senses. So feel the heat of the light on your face. You can even smell the perfume coming from the front row. I want you to hear the sound of your voice echoing in the room. Hear the whispers of people in the audience. I want you to even imagine a glass of water on a table next to you and take a sip and taste the fresh lemon in the water. And feel the headset, the speaker against the cheek and on the back of your ear. Again, you're using your taste, touch, smell, sight, sound. And if you want to travel, you could create a picture of where you'd like to be. But just imagine yourself in the moment. And rather than imagining yourself looking at you, you want to be inside looking out. Again, what does it look like, smell like, sound, taste, and feel like to you? Again, it's really important for you to imagine yourself within that vision and feeling all of these senses. The next step is to create an analogy or a metaphor. You might associate it with nature or with the movies. Our brains just naturally connect with symbols. That's why we have letters, we use signs, sign language. But if you think about the power and the vastness, perhaps, of oceans, or the strength of mountains, the freedom of rivers, or the serenity of a beach, imagine being one of these. Or think of a favorite inspirational character from a film or book. How does that feel in your body? If you're not feeling strong and you want to be more empowered, imagine being a mountain, what that feels like. And your subconscious can't really tell the difference between story and reality. And this is why we get so emotional when we connect with stories. And that leads to the third part, and this is a part that's often left out when people are trying to co-create or manifest from their heart. We want to use emotion and to anchor your goal with powerful emotion. That's really the secret sauce. And we think that when we reach our goals, we'll feel better. But I want you to imagine feeling that way right now. Without having achieved the goal, what would it feel like when you're actually there? That way, when you actually manifest this goal, you'll actually feel even more of all of these things than you even imagined. Again, using all of your senses, what would it feel like to be in that moment? And connect with those emotions and anchor into those emotions. You may even write down what some of those feelings are that are coming up for you so you can go back to them. So feel now how you would expect to feel once you've achieved your goals and still feel motivated to reach them. That's the important piece of it, is that even if you already have it, you want to make sure that again. Sorry about that. So being able to create the vision and feel like you're already there, but also be motivated to take action to keep moving towards that vision. So earlier in the talk, I mentioned to you that it took almost 20 years to finish my book. And why did it take so long? Again, what's the number one block on the path to living your purpose? Fear, right? So what was I afraid of? I mentioned a lot of different things that you could be afraid of. The two that popped up for me were really the fear of failure and the fear of being judged. Why I was afraid of being judged was because I wasn't really walking my talk, and I didn't want to be seen as a hypocrite. Do you ever feel that way? Like, you know the right answers, you talk to people about it, but sometimes you don't follow your own advice. So I created the Max Your Life Personal Empowerment Program to help me align with my own values, vision, and mission. I had never even really been through a personal development program before, but I knew that if I was starting to take some of my own medicine, that I would start feeling better. And within just a few months of completing my own program, before it was really a program, it was just a couple of exercises, the rest of my book just flowed out of me. And within a couple of months, I had it finished and published. And since that time, I've been through many different changes and challenges, just since I went through the Max Your Life program the first time. And I'd really love to go through that whole process again myself, and that's kind of why I'm sharing it with you. This whole program really will remind you of why you're here, and it will also renew your vision with really much greater clarity, as well as to help you identify where you're stuck and to help you with your own strategy to take your life to the next level of living your purpose. So remember, the three keys to successful transformation are strategy, accountability, and support. And the Max Your Life program offers all three of these critical pillars to transformation. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to take just a moment to tell you about it. The program, the Max Your Life program, is 4 weeks of personalized strategic planning in a structured format to help you design your own unique success plan. And that's the first step. We also offer double accountability. In fact, if you're following along in your workbook, I think at the end of the workbook, you'll have a link there. If you're listening by phone and you want to just type into your browser, you can take a look at what I'm offering. It's www.markporteous.com/MYL, Max Your Life. And again, after I just share a little bit about what I'll be starting in a couple of weeks, I want to go back and share another special gift with you. So this will just take a couple of minutes, but I think it's really important to help you understand, because I'd really like to go through this journey with you. I find that it's very helpful to have a team, not only to support me, but to be supporting them in the process. And I've really enjoyed this and seeing the successes that other people have come through. And I'd love to invite you along for the ride. So again, you'll get to, one of the big things is the double accountability. First of all, you get to choose your own accountability partner and invite them along as your guest to participate in the program. And then they'll get to benefit along with you and keep you on track at the same time. So it's a win-win situation. Plus, I back that up with group support in our private Facebook page, where your guest and you will be invited to share your wins, your challenges, and your personal commitments to accelerate your growth. And the ongoing group support from other loving souls on the same path is incredibly helpful to keep you on track. And Max Your Life is designed to help you get clear on what you really want, what's keeping you from the life you desire, and how to make the changes that will lead toward your goals. Again, it's a 4-week program. The structure is real simple. We have 4 weekly training calls you'll get each week that are sent to your email at the beginning of each week, so you can watch them at your convenience and do all of the exercises before our live call. We'll have 4 weekly live integration calls. And during each of these virtual workshops, you'll actually have the opportunity to share your experiences from the training, address your specific challenges, and work with me to actually implement these into your life. And the idea is that we're all in this process together. So you can ask all your questions directly. You can post them on Facebook or email them to me in advance if you can't make it. Plus, you'll get all the replays. You'll get the workbook journal, so you can record your progress as you go. And this is really important because you can look back in 30 to 60 days to see how much you've accomplished. Earlier, I was talking about how I feel like I've accomplished a lot, but I keep focusing on what I still have to do. This having a workbook will actually help you to remember all your progress. And then you can actually begin a fresh workbook every 6 to 12 months and compare the journals and notice how much you grow over time. Again, I mentioned having a progress partners for accountability and support, the private Facebook group. We also have additional resources in each module with free bonuses from my mentors to help you, to support you in your personal growth. So here's what we're going to cover in the program. Module 1 is the quest for purpose. And this first module is about self-discovery. We'll begin the process of personal transformation by getting a real clear picture of where you are now and where you want to be. That's going back to the beginning of our training about creating that gap, that vision of what you want, and then creating the strategy to help you get there. Part 2 is the tools of the quest. And in the second module, we'll be talking about 7 free tools that are available to anyone on the journey of life. And we'll identify each of the tools and how they can be implemented to improve the quality of your life. Just to give you an idea, the 7 tools are things like free will and surrender, how they work together, the relationships in your life, how they reflect who you are, with specific tools on how to enrich those relationships, religion or spiritual philosophy. This one is so important, and no matter what background you come from, that's had a big part on forming where you are and helped you to get to where you want to go. The law of attraction, and we have a very different take on the law of attraction using some of the well-known pieces that are out there, but really taking it to a different level of co-creative, so that you're manifesting from your heart rather than from your head. We also talk about intuition, how to tap into intuition and how to really maximize that, how to spark creativity through imagination, and then love, one of the most important tools available to all of us. In part 3, we'll be looking at the essence of love, an intimate source of power. And this third module is all about your core principles. You'll examine your values, your strengths, and key virtues to project and attract the goodness of love. And then finally, in our 4th part, this is all about moving forward. This is the manifestation part of creating the life that you desire from a soul place, so that when you get there, you're actually happy. And the idea is that you don't even have to get there. By this process of creating the life you desire, you'll find joy and happiness exactly where you are, and it'll help move you much more quickly towards where you feel like you really want to be. And again, the weekly call format, I'll have a training call that goes out to you each week with a workbook and exercises that you can do. And then later in the week, we can actually sit down together and go through each part, whatever's coming up for you in your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be the training. The idea is that I want to be able to coach you into to living your purpose. Now, because I really want to make this program accessible to everybody, I've made it incredibly affordable. I'm offering the Max Your Life Personal Empowerment Program for just $197 instead of the regular $297. And I'm keeping the group pretty small because I want to really work with people who are committed to making the change. It's not really about the investment. It's about the investment of your time and energy. I want to make sure that you can get out of it what you put into it. So the financial investment is a tiny amount compared to the transformation that you can experience in your life to begin living a higher expression of yourself, and tapping into your full potential will open up new possibilities beyond your current imagination. You'll see a much bigger vision for your life and craft a really clear plan to help you create it. So as I mentioned, I've got a couple of bonuses that I'm doing. I've got the Bring a Friend for free. Again, that would normally be another $297. We really encourage you to have a partner that you can take not only through the 4-week program, but that you can go back and look at your progress and go through the program again on your own, because you'll have that for life. So how much are the changes that you want to experience in your life, both physical, mental, and your spiritual well-being, worth to you? Certainly the 197 should not be a barrier between you and reaching those goals. And by joining the Max Your Life program, again, you'll learn about who you are, why you're here, and how to get where you want to go. You'll create a new perspective using, or you'll get a new perspective on the universal tools that I mentioned to enhance your life. You'll get an even deeper relationship with yourself and the divine. Plus, again, you'll create a very clear vision for the life that your soul desires. And you'll design your own personalized life map to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. So if these outcomes are what you want in your life, you can just click the button below or go to markporteous.com/MYL and just click on the buy button and get started. But to make it even easier for you to take advantage of this opportunity, I want to remove all the risk. So I promise that you'll absolutely love this program. If you're not completely satisfied, I'll refund 100% of your money within 30 days of the purchase. And this means you get to experience the entire program with absolutely no risk to you. So how long have you been putting off the changes that you want in your life? What do you need to achieve your goals? Would a clear step-by-step strategy and double accountability and ongoing group support help you? There are many forms of divine guidance. We receive messages and opportunities every day. And recognizing your opportunities and then making the most of them is one way to quickly manifest your desires. So if you've been waiting for a sign that you're ready to step up and to make these changes, this workshop may be that sign for you. And again, because making decisions with your heart instead of following your ego mind that controls you is such an important practice, I'm adding a special bonus to make this commitment to yourself really easy today. If you registered now, as an extra bonus, I'm going to gift you a 45-minute vision mapping session. And during our life planning strategy session, you're going to personalize the vision for you. We're going to work together to take what you've written and go into detail about how to manifest that. You're going to discover what the hidden obstacles are that are keeping you from your ideal life. We talked about the fears. What are the root causes of those? Because if you don't address the root cause, they'll keep showing up in different ways in your life. So we'll be able to take a look at that and how you can address them. And most importantly, you'll design a customized roadmap specifically for you to help guide you on your journey. And we can cover whatever else that you want during that time. So again, this private call is a really wonderful way to follow up with the group program, so I can work with you one-on-one and give you the opportunity to address your unique challenges and design a solution that is customized to support your vision. Again, you'll leave this session with a very specific action steps to help you achieve your goals. And this program is only going to be available to 20 people, the first 20 to register. So please don't wait. I want to make sure that you get to take advantage of this. And if you do have questions, if there's more that you want to ask me about that, feel free to email me at mark@markporteous.com. I really feel like it's my responsibility to help others thrive in their purpose, and I don't want to lose my chance to support your journey. Hopefully I've done everything that I can to make this invitation just absolutely irresistible to you. So if you're ready to place that stake in the ground and make a commitment to yourself, just click that button right now and register while it's still fresh in your mind. Again, you can enjoy the whole program for 30 days. And if I don't over-deliver on my promise to you, I'll refund 100% of your investment. So you have nothing to lose. I really want to share that journey with you. So that's everything about the Max Your Life program. We've covered everything in this. I'm only 5 minutes over, but I do want to stay on the line to answer your questions directly. And I also have a special gift for you too. So if you want to go to markporteous.com/purpose, let me write that right here on the side. markporteous.com/purpose. I have a special tool there that is for it's called Life Mapping Your Purpose Sweet Spot. And you can go through this and it'll help you get clarity before we start the program, or even if you decide not to, It's a very, very helpful exercise to help you see how what you love and what you know can actually create a business that supports your passion and your purpose. I hope that's something that you actually apply and use, because a lot of times when you get gifts, they have no value if you don't actually use them. Stick it in a jar, it doesn't really do anything. So I highly encourage you to download the free gift, the Life Mapping Your Purpose Sweet Spot. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to email me as well at mark@markporteous.com. So we have covered everything that I wanted to share as far as going through the vision mapping process, the 3 steps to transform from stress and struggle into peace, ease, and joy. And now I will open the lines. If you have any questions, actually you can just unmute yourself, or if you want to type anything into the side. Again, I wanted to make sure that I respected your time in completing this webinar within the hour, just a couple minutes over. So I unmuted the lines, but it sounds like they're back muted again. And thank you, Loretta, for your comments. I'm going to copy your comments and your email, and I'll send that to you. If anybody else has anything that they'd like to share or ask, just hit the mute button. And you can just speak. Larry, did I unmute you, or did you unmute yourself? Larry, are you there? Okay. Loretta, thank you again for your comments. Nanda, nice to see you. I would love to hear from each of you. And those of you that are on the phone and not joining by webinar, you do have my email, and you can just send me any questions that you might have. If you're listening to the replay, I would love to hear your big takeaways and just more about how I can support you on your journey.
Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an attendee in listen-only mode.
Is this
1
out of 3 people?
There we go. Great. Thank you, Nanda. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I am going to stop the recording, so that way if anybody has any personal questions they want to ask, we can do that without it being on the replay. Before I hang up, I just want to say to everybody who is here with me, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of my life. I am just extremely grateful for having a tribe of people who are on the same mission, and look forward to finding ways to support you. The light in me respects and appreciates the light in you. Namaste.